allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a reminder to silence your cell phones, please. Start with roll call.
Mayor Sherman.
Here.
Councilor Durrell.
Here.
Councilor Klinkhammer. Councilor Lundstrom.
Here.
Councilor Spradlin.
Here.
Councilor Tyree.
Here.
Councilor White.
Here.
All right, we've all had a chance to look at the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or corrections? Nope. If not, I'd look for a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda for the meeting of June 12th, 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Durrell.
Yes.
Councilor Spradlin.
Yes.
Councilor White.
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Yes.
Councilor Tyree.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. Motion passes. Now we've had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting. Does anybody have any corrections or revisions? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve the minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of May 22nd, 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Tyree.
Yes.
Councilor White.
Yes.
Councilor Durrell.
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Yes.
Councilor Spradlin.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. That motion passes. All right, we'll move on to visitors and delegations. First, we have citizen comments. Citizens are invited to speak to council on any item that does not have a public hearing scheduled. There's a 5-minute time limit per person, unless otherwise noted by the mayor, and please use your time wisely as you only get one opportunity. This is the only chance in the meeting you get to address council unless otherwise invited. Please note that no formal action will be taken on any item that is not on the posted agenda due to the open meeting law provision. However, they may be placed on a future posted agenda if action is required. To better assist you with questions, please submit them in writing to the city clerk and someone from staff will respond. And I think Dan has a comment too.
Yeah. This is part of the disclaimer that the mayor reads every time, but citizen comments open 5 minutes apiece, straight across the board. You guys are welcome to hear from your constituents. You should listen to them. There's nothing that says that that we engage or discuss further, and I would caution you to, like it says, because of the open meeting law, you have to give notice if you're going to take action on an item. There's been no notice posted, so I would caution you from taking any action tonight, but consider it, maybe bring it to a future meeting.
Yeah, we generally
If
don't.
you have questions, feel
yeah.
free to ask me.
And we generally don't respond much, so if you do speak, don't get offended if we don't engage, just because that's how it goes. So if anybody would like to speak to council, now is your chance. So I'll have you state your name and your address when you get to the podium.
Name and address?
Yeah.
My name is Jasmine Cano, and my address is 417 Stanford Street. I quit working at Wingspot to return as an employee for the city of Brush roughly about a month ago. Soon following this, screenshots of Scott Klinkhammer and another employee were posted on social media. My name wasn't in any of the posts, comments, or anything at this time. And the threads were initially posted to bring attention to the issue in hopes of action being taken, as well as accountability, which has not been done. I became frustrated and started speaking on the post circulating on Facebook. I felt as though comments were muted, turned off, and deleted. Meanwhile, he was posting and advocating for his businesses. Scott sent my mother my comment with a text message explaining that he met up with a lawyer and that he can sue anyone who talks about his business, true or untrue. And nothing that I have said or shown you today is slander, which I will show you. Instead of taking accountability and apologizing for his wrongdoings, he continued his threats, fueled by his sense of power and authority, which is extremely inappropriate behavior for any situation, but especially for a man that has power and authority for good for the city of Brush. And so I just ask you all to take any action that you see fit so that this behavior does not continue. And thank you for your time. Can I come up, please? Sorry. really bad anxiety.
You're good.
Can I explain what each of them are?
Mhm.
So this is the original one on Facebook,
Mhm.
and this was what was posted on Facebook. I don't have the actual screenshot of it posted because it got taken down too quick. And that is when he responded back to me, and these are the messages that he sent to me in my response. After that, I got in contact with a policeman, and he told me to block the number and I didn't qualify for harassment, which is now these messages, which is not me. It is Jackie Reyes, a 17-year-old. She cannot make it today, but she wanted me to speak on her behalf, and these are all of her messages with Scott.
Okay.
And there is some crossed out on there. This is a different business owner that has nothing to do with it, and we don't want her name in anything. But that's all I have for you.
Okay. Thank you, Jasmine.
Jasmine, I would like to say thank you for taking the time to speak. I know that regardless of how anyone in this room feels, that is a nerve-wracking experience, so I appreciate that you've taken the time and come to see us today.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Brittany Moya. I live at 417 Stanford Street. As a parent, I have struggled with this decision to address you all today. I was struggling with addressing you myself, or simply guiding and supporting my daughter Jasmine in the direction that she feels appropriate for the situation. My daughter is 18 years old now. At 17 years old, her work relationship began with Mr. Klinkhammer. I previously have also worked with him in a different aspect for over a year now. When Jasmine began her employment for him, I made it clear to both of them that I would not get involved. She was told when she had concerns to take those to another responsible adult that would guide her so that I could maintain my professionalism in my own working relationship with Mr. Klinkhammer. As of late, she chose to return to her previous employment for the City of Brush at the Course Cafe. Upon informing Mr. Klinkhammer, he removed her from work chat before her last shift even began. He ignored her personal text regarding last pay when she was not expecting it any sooner than payday, just simply inquiring due to the recent change in payroll. She did take this to another adult for help, which led to an issue between Mr. Klinkhammer and that person. At this time, his false accusations and threats directed to me and at my daughter as well. With the incident on the morning of May 26th, several previous employees, mostly minors and their parents, all began to discuss their own experiences with Mr. Klinkhammer. At this time, a post was made, not by me or Jasmine, showing screenshots of his conversation with Jackie, another 17-year-old fresh in the workforce employee. At 5:18 p.m. on May 26th, while herding my son and dogs to the basement due to the tornado sirens going off, I received a text alert and immediately after a phone call. With the current weather, I did not even look at the caller ID and just answered the phone to Mr. Klinkhammer's screaming voice. He was screaming belligerently, "I will effing ruin you. I will go to Cisco. I will go to the city. I will effing ruin your effing daughter. I will be at the city tomorrow and have her fired." I asked him for what? What did we do? At this time, he believed that the screenshots were between him and Jasmine. Upon this call ending, several texts were exchanged in which he continued to use his position on various boards to leverage me to tell her to tell them to stop it. Amid all of these threats of retaliation, I got in contact with my company's HR manager to find some sort of resolve that would not affect my position as his sales consultant or have me removed as his sales consultant was my hope, as well as making some inquiries for the kids to help them figure out how they needed to handle their own situation. During this time, Mr. Klinkhammer's significant other then called my employer with a false and slanderous complaint, for which I can only assume was an effort to keep me quiet and try to get me to silence Jasmine. I know that you all will not respond today, but I just stand here asking you all if this is what you want, how you want the City of Brush to be represented. Is this what we want the next generations to learn and follow? As an adult employer and city council member, Mr. Klinkhammer has failed various children entering the workforce. He's failed our community using his position to threaten and leverage his own personal wants. I would ask you all to please let us in the community know how this situation will be handled, and thank you for your time and efforts. And I don't know if you want a copy. I brought you guys a copy of what I wrote if you'd like it.
Sure.
Yes. I'll just.
She is
Thank you,
employed by the City of Brush right now.
Yes, she is. Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany.
Anybody else?
My name is Rosalie Villalobos. I'm at 514 Emerson Street. I've been an employee with Scott for quite a while now. I worked with Jasmine. I actually got along with Jasmine really great. Thought she was a good worker. I never saw any trouble between either one of them. No arguments. You know, she would sit there and play on her phone, and he wouldn't tell her anything, and she'd get paid for it. I've never seen him treat anybody badly. In the way of people saying that he's racist and he's bad against children. This is his family, his friends, and his employees that are all here. To give you an idea, what's going on, you know, and I would like council to look at that also. She is a city employee. She did post about another city employee. What are the laws about city employees attacking each other on that? So I just want to give you a little bit of insight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. John Martinez. I live here in Brush, Colorado. I also know Scott. I know him for a while. I've never known him to be any type of violent. He's always had a smile on his face. I've never, in all the years I've known him, never seen him come awkwardly at anyone. Not just for any reason. There's always a reason for something. That's what we all have to look at. What's going on Facebook, that's social media. It's what does he actually do for the city of Brush? Not conversation between children and a so-called adult with emotions. So that's what we all got to look at, what he actually does. We all make mistakes. If it was a mistake, it all depends on how big the mistake was. But I've always known that man to have a smile on his face. And if something went wrong, a tear in his eye. Other than that, I've never known that man to be violent, racist, or anything like that. And I'll tell you this because I'm from the Caribbean islands. I'm 100% Puerto Rican. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anthony White. I live in 112 Elm Street. I live here in the city of Brush. I have been out here when I first came out here to Brush. I have experienced racism out here on my very first time ever coming to Colorado. I've seen it more than once in the multiple different places I've lived, from Las Vegas to Arizona. I was born in Las Vegas and came up. I've lived in a lot of places. I've met Scott. I went and talked to Scott. I've been working there for about, I'd say, 3-4 months. That man has never once ever treated me different. That man has never once batted an eye. And I am not the most greatest of most people. Like, I'm not. I do not hold myself highly above anything. But that man has treated me perfectly fairly. He's not racist. That whole thing, if there was a mistake and things were said. That was a mistake. Like he just said, look, it all matters how big the mistake was. But that man has not ever come left. He's always sat down and talked. He's always sat there and explained, and he would always hear you out. So I'm just saying my part on how I've known him and how I've been around him, and I've been around a lot of different people. He's a good guy. He helps everybody that comes through, every ethnicity, every way of life. He has never batted or tried to change how he would sit there and treat you and if he would help you. And that right there, one of the better reasons we came to Brush is because it's a whole lot better in Sterling. Your schools are better and your community is better. And if he's been here this whole time helping, and sit there and say there's probably a good job going on. But I'll say my piece with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm really nervous. My name is Maudie. I live at 724 Lincoln Street. I moved here a little bit over a year ago. Single mom, 5 kids. I met Angel first through the school that we work for, and then I met Scott through him. And Scott's never been rude or disrespectful. If I need anything, my kids need anything, you know, and they help with whatever. At first it was like a common friendship, but it grew, and they treat me like family and my kids like family as well. My son, Scott actually gave him an opportunity just to go and help out whenever, do little jobs here and there, and to help get money in his pocket. Never had an issue with Scott or my son. I don't know, they're like family. I'm from Greeley, so meeting nice people here is a big difference than Greeley. So I'm actually really glad that I met them, and you know, they're family. So yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Scott Armstrong. I don't live in Brush, but I do work for Scott at the wing spot and at the Livestock Exchange. I can tell you, I worked with Jasmine. She wasn't an awful employee. Sometimes things got left behind. She did spend a lot of time on her phone. I never saw Scott respond badly to her or talk down to anybody. I've never had any negative experience with him. So I did, and there quite a bit. So I know my mom is part of the American Legion Auxiliary here in Brush. Anytime she's needed donations, Scott's been more than willing to help. You know, I know he's willing to do whatever he can to help somebody. So this is not a hateful person. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it?
My name is Angel Cardenas. I live at 706 Lincoln Street. So I know Scott for over 7 years, and we've been together 5 years. The thing is that happened with all the situation of the Facebook and everything, it's just been overwhelming and just not right, you know? So, but most of the things had happened because I think if Scott was such a bad person, like people say to think he is, you know, on Facebook. I mean, when if Jasmine supposedly said that he's so mean and disrespectful and, you know, doesn't know how to treat his employees. Well, last year, Ms. Brittany Moya was intoxicated and she beaten her daughter. She kicked her out. She took her car away from her. And she went, you know, she was at work. She went crying. She told us the situation, what had happened between her mother. Her mom was in jail. They called back. The mother called in just asking for her little brother, and Jasmine has said, well, that makes me feel out of place. My mom doesn't like me or my other brother because he was just only asking for my little brother. But then Scott was like, you know, calm down, you know, it's okay, you know, you don't have nothing to worry about, you know. She was, well, I have to get to my work, I have to go to school, I'm on my last year, and this and that. He's like, well, if you need a place to stay, you know, you can stay at our house. We have empty houses, and empty rooms in the downstairs where you can stay. If you need a ride to school or to work, you know, just let me know and I can get you there, you know. If that's such a bad person, I mean, why would a person offer you their home, and, you know, if they were such an bad employer? And the reason why I, you know, think that Miss Brittany was maybe moral support for her daughter, you know, but also because she thinks that Scott Klinkhammer had called in to file a complaint against her for being unprofessional. But that was the person. The person who had called to Cisco was me. I had called them and told them that I do not want a Cisco rep that's going to be babbing about everybody's employer, you know, everybody's business to everybody else. So I was the one who called, and she just kept on going and going. So I had to call her employer again, and he said he would take matters into his hands. So just thank you. I appreciate you for, you know, letting me know how she's acting and this and that. Scott's just a good person. We've donated to businesses and schools. Jasmine's prom, we donated for that. We donated for the senior float. We bought the Sands Theater out for the community to come together and have something to do. If that's such a bad person, why would somebody spend their money for other people to have fun in their community? And yeah, this situation about, you know, the Jackie girl, the 17-year-old at the time, you know, she did put some stuff, and she would say past, you know, text between her and Scott about this girl. they did say that she was black and stuff like that. But the only thing that I've been taught in school is blacks, whites, you know, never Caucasian, never other. It's always on this paper like this. You go to file an application, it says Asian, African American, Indian, Alaska Native, Asian, Black, African American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, or white. Does not say Caucasian, does not say anything else. So black is just been taught to be a color. You know, it's not a racist thing. Yeah, like we just try to help out the community, and you know, and he's not a bad person. You know, if you were living with a person, you get to know how they are and their likes, their dislikes, you know, what makes them angry, what doesn't make them angry, you know. And we've taken a lot of stuff, like our employees, we do not treat them bad. We always treat them with respect. And we did, like, you know, we weren't as mean as we were supposed to be, because, you know, our employees sit there most of the time texting and not working, and there's people needing to be attended and everything, and they're just going on about texting and texting. Miss Jasmine would go into the bathroom multiple times. She was Snapchatting one other employer, and this other one girl was like, well, I'm gonna slice a girl's throat. Send it to Jasmine, and Jasmine showed it to us, and just because of that, we took action, and we fired her for that. And
Your
also,
5
like,
minutes are about up, Angel, so if you want to wrap it up, your 5 minutes are just about up.
Okay, yeah,
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I would just like, I'd like to task Monty and Lance to look into, you know, having a city employer basking another city employee. I think a city employer should be, you know, held at a higher standard. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Angel.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. That wraps up citizen comments. I just want to say I appreciate everybody that spoke up. It's really hard. It's nerve-wracking. We get that. And I appreciate that you came in person. I know there's been a lot of the cyberbullying that's been going on Facebook I know you guys are here in person, and I recognize a lot of the names, and those people are not here in person, you know. They're behind a keyboard making everybody's life miserable, and so it takes a lot of guts to show up in person and do that. You know, what I saw on Facebook, we would not tolerate from our children, and it was happening between grown adults, and it's just really sad. So just keep in mind that there's live people at the other end of that, and you know, if he sent some texts that were hurtful, it doesn't make it okay to go on Facebook and try to ruin a man. So thank you all for showing up and speaking. All right. On that note, we will move into management. Okay, we have a public hearing for a minor subdivision. So we'll let everybody get set up for that.
Hello, this is Andy.
Hi, Andy. This is Loranda calling with the City of Brush, and we are in council meeting getting ready to get started on the public hearing.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm just going to set the phone down, and we will call upon you when it's time.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, girls. Okay. So, is there a script for this, or just say open the? Okay. All right, so we're opening the public hearing, considering a minor subdivision of the Odell Second Subdivision replat of Lot 2 for legal description, northwest quarter of Section 3, Township 3, North Range 56, west of the 6th Prime Meridian. And Monty has the report for this one.
Okay, Tyler is on vacation right now, and this is his staff report that I told him I would cover for him on this. And It's a minor subdivision request that we have. Slide.
Monty, do you want the clicker?
I tried this one, didn't work. Let's see if Lou can get that fixed. So I'll just keep moving along until they figure that out. But this subdivision was submitted by CBC DT LLC, and okay, I got it. And it's a minor subdivision. It's Tom Odell's property. It's up by the secondary campus. So up on the screen, there's a secondary campus. Just to the north is the property we're going to talk about. That's Mill Street. This is Hospital Road and Mill Street. And essentially what they want to do is split that parcel into two. One parcel is about a little over an acre. The other parcel is going to be about a little over 2 acres. I won't go through all these details. These are in your packet, but these are the guidelines that Tyler follows when he goes through a process like this. It is a minor subdivision. Minor subdivision simply means that it's less than 4 parcels that are going to remain after you subdivide the property. This is going to end up being 2. So the good news when you go through a minor subdivision, it's mostly a very quick administrative process. So it's not a major subdivision, it's a minor. So up on the board, let me just run up behind that. So we're at this phase right here. The H means hearing, so we're in the hearing. CC is City Council. A few weeks ago, we had the Planning Commission, and they had their hearing, and they've made a recommendation to the City Council. So, so things that are important for, let me put it right here so it doesn't fall down. So things that are important is, because it's a minor subdivision, the director, who is Tyler, he can make the decision to go through a lesser process, not go through the sketch plan requirements. And so this has moved along fairly quickly. It did go through the standard public notice process. So the pictures that you see up there is the ad, or the public notice that was put in the newspaper, sign that is a public notice out on the site, and then also a copy of the letter that shows what was sent out to the addresses that were provided to us. The applicant has this, a number of submissions that have to come through. All of those were provided to Tyler. Everything worked out very well there. And now we're going to go into a little more discussion on the property. Is everyone okay if I use this one, or you guys want me on the big one?
No, you're fine.
Whichever one. I'll go on the big one here. So up here, this is the parcel the way it stands today. There's a lot 1, there's a house out there, and then this is the bigger parcel, the lot 2 that's being subdivided. One of the checks that Tyler does is he will go through the comprehensive plan for the city, and he'll look at the goals, strategies that the city put in place years ago, make sure that they're compatible. And so that's just a list of those that he came across that shows it is compatible with our comprehensive plan. So now this one right here is where it's showing the actual plat, where this is the parcel that's being cut out, a little over 1 acre. This is the little over 2 acres that is going to be left behind. This just shows the 1 acre up here, and then the 2 acres down below. And also this is a good blow up right now of, it shows some of the utility easements in here. So you'll see around all the parcels, there's going to remain a 10-foot utility easement on each of those. This is, it's not as much of a close-up, but it shows different easements that will remain on the property. And that's part of the planning process. You have to think about the future. You never know exactly where all the utilities are going to go, but you make a good guess at where they're going to be. And we do that after we consult with our engineer just to see what's going to be the best areas to have your utilities run. So this is an aerial photo. This one is just showing the streets up here. That's Mill Street. This is the street going into the school district. And then this parcel, this overlay, this is where the street's going to go into that parcel now. So this is ingress, egress easement that there's going to be right here. We had to ensure that that was there because one is this is what's going to get the traffic into the property over here. But also, if you have a remaining parcel down here, you have to demonstrate that there is future access to that property so they don't get locked out. Because the street going into the school district, our understanding that is school district property. So this way it leaves the access point for the 2 acres that are left over. The other thing is you want to ensure you have walkability, and so all the parcels there are still going, already do have sidewalks in front of those, so that helps out with the property already. But also Tyler has a little setback or easement in there for future trails or sidewalks that'll lead down to the school district. And also it's up here near this intersection because we do feel that once this is built and the housing up here is built, more than likely that'll be a straight shot to the school district for kids walking to school. Stormwater drainage, it's going to be up here by Mill Street. The majority is going to be caught in here. There's going to be a stormwater pond. And then also from that easement going out, some of the stormwater will go out onto Mill Street and that collection system. So with that minor subdivision, it has been to the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission recommended approval, that the City Council approve it. And a few conditions that were there. The first one, Western Engineering Consultants approved the civil plans associated with the shared access. That's that road coming in. We want to make sure that it is planned, it's going to do what it's supposed to do. And also, the recommendation was make the following additions to the plat. Add dedication above the dedication paragraph in there. That's more administrative. Also, in the notes, put in their approval of this plan may create a vested property right pursuant to Article 68 of Title 24 Colorado Revised Statutes as amended. And then also add the DE, the drainage easement, to a legend, so when people look at the legend or see the plat, they see the DE, they know what that means. So that is the recommendation, that's my report, and also the recommendation of the Planning Commission to approve the minor subdivision. That's all I have.
Very good. And we have the applicant here. Does he have any, or on the phone?
Might not be able to hear you.
Oh.
Let's try it again.
Okay, what's his name, Andy?
Yeah.
Hi, Andy. Do you have any comments that you'd like to make on this?
No real comments. That was a great presentation done by the city staff. I really appreciate that. I just want to basically state that I'm here today for any questions that you guys may have, and we've really appreciated working with the city on getting this moving forward. All the staff recommendations made, 1 and 2, we have resupplied new plans to the city to hand to Western Engineering for review, and we have also resubmitted a plat with all 3 of the A, B, and C items for consideration as well. So with that, I would just be happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Alrighty. Does anybody have any questions?
I don't think so.
Well, I think we're all clear. All right, is there anybody in the public that would like to make any statements? Public testimony? Nope. Okay. So no public testimony. Any final questions? All right, so I would look for a motion to close the public hearing.
I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
And any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor White?
Yes.
Counselor Gurrell?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, so now we're gonna need a motion on the action of deciding this subdivision.
I move that we approve the minor subdivision of the Odell second subdivision, replat lot 2 for legal description, northwest quarter of section 3, township 3 north, range 56 west of the 6th PM.
Second.
Any more discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor White?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Gurrell?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right.
And did he hear, was he able to hear the motion?
Did you hear the motion, Andy? So-
I did.
Okay, so it has been approved.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks for making us available. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
All right, well, you guys have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
All right, bye.
All right, next up we have a United Way letter of support.
Okay, this will be quick. This is a support letter for United Way, and just a little background. Joanne might help you on this, but I think for about 30 years we've been always good partners with United Way, different programs that we've done over the years. It's always been a great working relationship. They have their goals and their ambitions, what they want to do. The City of Rush, we've had ours, and Salvation Army was another one. But this was a request for a support letter. They're working on an application for what's called the Division of Housing for Transformational Homelessness Response Funds. And my understanding is that's a pot of funds that they can acquire, and it helps with homelessness for those who are a little bit less fortunate. Sometimes it's to help get them into a house or apartment short-term, get themselves on their feet, and also to help with efforts in preventing homelessness. And so it doesn't cost us anything, but it's a support letter to help them with a stronger application for that. And so the mayor has a copy to sign. We just wanted that to be approved by the city council.
And so I would look for a motion for that approval.
Will we approve the United Way letter of support?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Guerrero?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor White?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, motion passes. Next, we have finance.
I move we approve disbursements and payroll for May 23rd, 2023 through June 12th, 2023 totaling $1,764,784.43.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor White?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Guerrero?
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, that motion passes. Next, we have staff reports. Tyler's not here. Brandon Flecksteiner, you're in Chief of Police.
Evening, everyone. The only thing I have is a staffing portion. Staffing is looking better. We had our new CSO start, Bill Zazenhaus, it's a mouthful. Started with us as well, and then the two academy participants both graduated, both officially started FTO, so definitely more new faces in the back. So I think, again, immediately it's not giving a lot of relief, but I think within the next few months, I think the guys that have been here working their butts off will definitely have some relief here. Definitely.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Joanne Gosling, Finance.
I have nothing to say.
Well, you just want to watch them Nuggets.
He's like, come on.
Trying to get out of here. We should take like 30.
We're
We'll have some chicken wings with their name on it, man.
Yeah, you gotta hurry up and get those ordered.
I do have just two quick things. We're starting to review our sales permits, standards, and fees, and so once we have a resolution to update all of that, we'll bring it back to council. And then next meeting on June 26th, that's during the CML conference. We have several going, including the mayor pro tem, Monty, Tyler, Councilor Guerrero. So I was talking with Monty about this earlier today, that if we don't have anything pressing, we might discuss the possibility of canceling the next meeting. So that's all I have.
Very good. Dan Krupp, City Attorney.
I don't have anything to report, but happy to answer questions if you have any.
Yep. All right, thank you, Dan. Monty Torres, City Administrator.
Just one thing. I did talk to Dan earlier today in regards to I think it was today, it was last week, can't remember, but it was in regards to that house on Circle Drive, the one that had been burned down, and we're moving the next step now on trying to get that resolved. We understand the neighbors, it's been a little painful for them seeing the burned down house for a year and a half, 2 years, but it's a unique situation, and we think that we're getting closer to getting that resolved. And we'll report back to council once we get the next step out of the way. That's all I have.
Very good. Mayor and council reports. Do councilors have anything to report?
I know there's like a lot of this, Monty, when you guys were doing the plans for the new plot for the Family Dollar, but have we looked at traffic in that area? Is that gonna be a problem?
There's a
I'm
traffic-
teasing. I'm totally teasing. That's a joke. I'm just saying there needs so much to look into. It might become an issue. I'm just saying. If it's just some kind of study or something, I don't know. Just skip all over this.
Why don't you just sit up on the
Thank you for almost answering it though, by the way.
I had the politically correct answer.
I got you.
Anybody else?
We're gonna have we talked at that meeting after, we had like some kind of a executive session where we kind of sat down and talked to you guys about us sitting down together and kind of like get on the same page with a lot of things that maybe we've been splitting out on. If we can make that happen, I'd appreciate it, you know what I mean?
Yep.
There were some policies or whatever.
Sure, sounds good.
I also have a question. Do we need to make a decision in this meeting in regard to the next meeting, or can it be made after the meeting?
Like it can be made after the meeting if there's nothing else. I mean, I guess I should leave this up to our attorney.
I don't want to assume that I'm following you, but are you saying that if
make
you
a
wanted to
motion.
add an agenda item to the next meeting? does
No,
it
the
have to be
city
done
clerk
now?
asked us if we should make a decision as a group to cancel the next meeting because we're
I
all
just
going to be
stated it
attending.
may be.
The meeting.
I would just say.
And so I just didn't know if, because this is the only meeting before the next meeting, if we need to make that decision during this meeting.
Usually what we do is just give us guidance that if there's no pressing topics for the next meeting that can't be held off, that staff just puts out a notice, we're canceling the meeting.
Okay.
And that's sufficient for us.
Okay.
If you do that, I need Finance Committee to sign my bill so we can go ahead and pay those the second council meeting.
Ugh, so what's about Joanne?
I've had a couple people talk to me about the streets flooding, which is, I mean, this has been an unprecedented amount of water that we've gotten, and I think our street department has been doing a really good job of keeping the grates cleaned out, and so it's just kind of a community reminder not to drive through those big puddles when the streets are flooded. If the street department hasn't had a chance to block them off, it doesn't mean it's okay to drive through them. And I think I want to post in maybe the.
It doesn't hurt to help the street department a little bit too.
Yeah, if
Our
you
street
are-
department isn't very busy. If the drain is right by your house and you see it's clogged up a little bit, help out.
Clean it, yeah. that's
It
a
doesn't
good
hurt the
point.
citizens to help a little bit.
Yeah.
It's helping everybody when they do that.
Yeah, as well as yourself. Yep, that was a very good point. And the street sweeper, I'm wondering if we could maybe post the schedule, just so people can kind of be aware of when they maybe should maybe not park their cars on the streets or move their cars, just to help the street sweeper out. But that was all I had. I thought somebody was going to say something.
I thought about it. I changed my mind.
I heard that.
I'm gonna
Okay.
wait.
So we will go into executive session. Do we need to read this? We need a motion. Oh, okay. We need a motion to go into executive session?
I do have a question. Sorry, I didn't know if it's okay to ask right now. You guys were talking about postponing the next meeting, so in 2 weeks, if nobody's going to be here, so the next one, if it is canceled, it would be next month.
It's going to be the second and fourth Mondays of every month, with the exception of the next one.
Okay.
Just due to us being at a conference.
Just wondering, yeah, because I did have something that I wanted to bring up, but we weren't ready, so I just wanted to come in and
Oh, okay.
Just see everybody and see how the process goes.
Very good.
Thank you for
Yeah, if
joining
you
us.
have something that you want to be on the agenda, I think we have forms over by the door there. Fill it out and get it to the city clerk, and she can kind of make sure that we have you on there too. Okay. And we'll post for sure. If we're not going to have a meeting, it'll probably be on the website and on Facebook. We'll get the word out. Okay. So I need a motion to go into executive session. And there's that verbiage.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session pursuant of the Colorado Revised Statute Title 24, Article 6, Section 402 of the subsection 4A for the purchase, acquisition, lease, transfer, or sale of any real, personal, or other property interests. The matter to be discussed is the potential sale of one property and an independent lease of another property.
And I just want to bring attention, there's two matters to be discussed.
Okay.
Two different matters.
Yeah, just to clarify for the record, because it is under the same section, there's, matter one is the sale of real property. Matter two is a potential lease
Okay.
of a different property. But they're both under the same section.
They're both in there.
I second the motion with the note that there's two matters to be discussed.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor White?
Yes.
Counselor Gurrell?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, that motion passes. So when we go into executive session, everybody has to leave.
I can't remember what it was. I'll double check.
Lisa said that you had to look into some things about liability, which makes total
Yeah,
sense.
I think that's kind of what I'm waiting for, is I don't recall that came to a final answer.
Okay.
But I'll find out.
All right. Where are we? Okay, so we need a motion. I need two separate motions.
Madam Mayor, can I make
Yes.
my?
Oh, yeah, you have your
Sorry.
thing.
Sorry.
It's like I knew.
So the time is now 7:20. I'm Dan Crowley, the city attorney. Note for the record, we're returning from executive session. I was present throughout. The scope of the discussions was within the scope of the statute, and as the city attorney, the attorney-client privilege attaches.
Sorry about that. No, that's okay. Thank you. All right, so I would look for two different motions coming out of our executive session.
First motion, I move that staff move forward as directed during executive session in regard to the potential sale of one property.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Wright?
Yes.
Counselor Grout?
Yes.
Counselor Spellman?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, and then I would look for a motion on the second one.
I move that staff move forward as directed during an executive session in regard to an independent lease of a property.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Wright?
Yes.
Counselor Grout?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, both those pass. Next is adjournment. Look for a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, our meeting is adjourned and we'll move into our work session.
Just a second.
Okay.